Not sure yet, Ellen said, smiling. After some of those health classes this morning, my genes started looking pretty good again. Yeah, learning all about biology isn't exactly glamorous, Nancy agreed. And don't forget boys, Annette added with a laugh. Being a girl means dealing with them acting goofy just to get your attention. Speaking of which, Vivian teased, anyone ever hit on you, Ellen? At the mall yesterday, Ellen said. And the jewelry store manager even asked Vicky and me out for a drink. Vicky? Your girlfriend? Annette asked. Yep. She's gorgeous, flaming red hair, karate skills, the whole package, Ellen said proudly. I wish I looked like her. Jeanette said dreamily. You go out dressed like that? Emily asked wide-eyed. Sure, Ellen said, smiling. We even went out to dinner last weekend with my cousins. Wait, you're Ellen Jordan? Annette said, her eyes lighting up. My sister used to talk about you all the time. Hopefully she wasn't too hard on me, Ellen joked nervously. Just then, Stacy approached the table. Sorry to break up the party, girls, Stacy said cheerfully. But Ellen needs to head back to the office for a while. What are they doing to her? Annette asked playfully. Just making sure she's ready for everything, Stacy said as Ellen got up, giving the girls a small wave. See you later, girls, Ellen said as she walked off with Stacy. This isn't so bad, Ellen said to her. It's not, as long as you're a good girl, Stacy said with a smile. But Mom meant it when she said there's no time for nonsense. Poor Josie is going to have an interesting time here. She's here because she had a preference for borrowing her sister's clothes. We'll see if she still feels the same after a few weeks. How do you know that? Ellen asked. It's part of the entrance interviews, Stacy said. Most of the students are here because they got caught. Only 2 were forced, and 4 asked to come. That's why we do evaluations, to know how to help everyone properly. And despite what people say, we're really not dedicated to making life miserable for boys. But it helps that the rumor exists, otherwise, a summer at St. Catherine's wouldn't sound half as scary. They arrived back at the office, where the doctors were waiting. Ellen returned to the conference room, and the detailed questions resumed, covering every aspect of her background. Just before 2 o'clock, Joyce buzzed for Mrs. Hanneran to come in. We've reached some preliminary conclusions, Dr. Roth said. The full report will be much more detailed. Since you are her aunt, would you like Ellen to be present for this discussion? Lily turned to Ellen and teased lightly. Are you brave enough to hear if you're really a girl or not? Ellen smiled. I'd like to hear what they think, considering I already know what you think, she replied. All right then, Lily said. Dr. Ryan began. It seems Ellen's development of a typical male personality paused around age 9 or 10, followed by a period of uncertainty. After the loss of her father, there was a noticeable emotional shift. From that point on, her personality and identity growth increasingly aligned with a traditionally female pattern. The male role persisted mainly because it offered her a sense of individuality in a household dominated by females. If Ellen had had a male sibling or cousin, Dr. Ryan continued, this might have shifted earlier. We believe, subconsciously, she may have encouraged the changes to fulfill what she wanted without feeling solely responsible for them. Dr. Roth added, that's why Ellen was so convincing, even fooling us initially. Her feminine behavior is natural, not forced, and her appearance easily supports her identity. Ellen leaned forward slightly. So, what does all that mean? Am I a boy, a girl, or something else? You are a female in identity and personality, Dr. Roth said gently. You're now beginning to recognize that, and over time, with support, it will feel even more natural. Thank you, Ellen said quietly. You can head back to your class now, Ellen, Lily said. We'll review everything formally later today or tomorrow with your mom. Ellen smiled and left for her hygiene class while Lily returned to her administrative work. At 2:20, there was a knock at the headmistress's door. Enter, Lily called. It was Vicky. What brings you here today? Lily asked warmly. I promised to pick Ellen up, Vicky said. I got here a little early, so I thought I'd stop by and say hello. That's very sweet of you, Lily said. By the way, how did your day out go? It was wonderful, Vicky said. Ellen's letting more and more of her true self shine through. She's happier every time I see her. I wouldn't be surprised if she's a full-on girly girl by the end of the month. She had a long day today, Lily said. We had her meet with Dr. Ryan and Dr. Roth. They're finalizing their reports. Anything you can hint at? Vicky asked with a sly smile. Lily chuckled. You know medical records are private, she said, nodding slightly. But I'm sure Ellen will have some things to tell you. She's in one of the early groups then? Vicky asked. You monitored long enough to know how we operate here, Lily replied with a smile. On a lighter note, Vicky said, how did Stephanie do today? Poise and etiquette lessons, Lily said with a chuckle. She had a few mishaps, but nothing serious. It's part of learning. Any others you think might really blossom this year? Vicky asked. For more, probably, Lily replied. But I'll wait for the doctor's final reports before making predictions. Think you could send a copy of Ellen's report to Dr. Kelly? Vicky asked. We're meeting him after school on Wednesday. I'll have to clear it with Gertrude first, but it shouldn't be a problem, Lily said as the dismissal bell rang. Thanks, Lily. See you Wednesday, Vicky said. Take care, dear. And take good care of Ellen, Lily replied. Vicky found Ellen outside her classroom, chatting with a group of classmates amid lots of giggling. Anything I should be jealous about? Vicky teased. Nope, sweets, Ellen said. We were just planning a walk home posse to stay safe after school. Gang, this is Victoria. Ellen introduced Vicky to the others, who greeted the glamorous redhead with awe. Spotting Annette among them, Vicky said warmly. You must be Annette Peters, Bernadette's little sister. That's me, Annette said proudly, standing tall. I graduated with Bernie, Vicky said. She talked about you sometimes. Hope it was good things, Annette replied, smiling. Mostly about how you'd make a great engineer someday, Vicky teased. Annette laughed. Well, Bernie had a way with words. Did she also mention she's expecting a baby now? As long as you're not the father, what can I say? Vicky said teasingly. Come on, Ellen, looks like you've had a busy day. Bye, Ellen, sweetie. See you tomorrow for our next lesson. Annette called out, batting her eyelashes dramatically. You two sure hit it off, Ellen said as she and Vicky headed toward the doors. Annette's sweet, but she's definitely taken a liking to you, Vicky said with a grin. Just letting her know I'm protective of my territory. Once inside Vicky's car, she asked, So, what did you learn today? Girls have a lot to deal with, Ellen said with a laugh. And the counselors think I might be one. Except for a few technicalities, you definitely are, Vicky said with a wink. By the way, my mom invited you for dinner. Want to come? Sure, Ellen said. It's all a little confusing, though. When I was hanging out with the girls, it just felt natural. Like I fit in. No one treated me differently. That's because they don't see you the way you used to see yourself, Vicky said warmly. Most people think gender identity and attraction are the same, but they're different things. I'm still confused, Ellen admitted. Let me put it this way, Vicky said. You carry yourself like a girl. You're comfortable that way. That's identity. What you feel inside when you're close to someone, that's another story. They pulled up in front of Ellen's house. Before getting out, Vicky leaned over and gave Ellen a soft, sweet kiss. How was school today? Gert asked when they entered the house. Oh, hello, Victoria. I didn't see you behind Ellen. Just an orientation day, Mom, Ellen said. Trying to figure out what I need to work on. By the way, Ellen added, Vicky's mom invited me to dinner. Is that okay? There's something different about you tonight, sweetie, Gert said, narrowing her eyes thoughtfully. Not sure what it is, but it'll come to me. Probably the girly stuff, Vicky teased. She was surrounded by 240 girls all day. Some of it had to rub off. Oh! Did you know Bernadette Peters is expecting a baby, Mom? Ellen asked. No, I hadn't heard. I'll have to keep an ear out, Gert replied. You can have dinner with the O'Malleys, but mind yourself. Their father is very protective of his daughters, Gert warned lightly. Don't worry, Vicky said, laughing. Mom keeps him in line whenever friends are over. Actually, Aunt Lily had already called to invite me to dinner too, so it worked out, Gert added. The girls will be staying the week with us. Come on, girl, go change, Vicky said. We'll have a little time before Dad and Jenny get there. Ellen hurried upstairs, moving on the balls of her feet with excitement. What should I wear? She called down from the landing. The light blue skirt with the sailboats or the blue shirt dress? Vicky called back. Ellen chose the blue shirt dress Vicky had picked out the day before, pairing it with light blue suede sandals. I never move like that, she thought. More like Stacy and Tracy do. She swapped out her girdle and stockings for a corset and matching blue satin lingerie. She carefully oiled her legs for a bare-legged look, admiring how much work it all took. No wonder it takes girls longer to get ready, Ellen thought, laughing quietly. She refreshed her makeup, dusty rose blush, mauve eyeshadow, and checked herself in the full-length mirror. Not bad at all, girl, she said to herself, feeling a swell of pride. That was definitely worth the wait, Vicky said admiringly as Ellen floated gracefully across the living room. That's a beautiful dress, sweetheart, Gert said warmly. Just try to be back around 9, school again tomorrow. Don't worry, ma'am, Vicky said with a smile. She'll be home on time. Have fun, girls, but be careful, Gert added, waving them off. They drove the few blocks to the O'Malley home, mostly quiet except for a few exchanged glances and smiles. Laura O'Malley was sitting on the porch swing when they arrived. Hello, Mrs. O'Malley, Ellen said politely. You told me to bring home someone I fancied, so here she is. Vicky said playfully. She'll need a plate at supper too. Oh my, Laura said, laughing warmly. Victoria Lynn O'Malley, you'll be the death of me yet. Let's head around to the back, Vicky said with a grin. No need for the whole neighborhood to listen in. I've got a roast in, so one more guest isn't a problem, but we won't eat until Colleen gets home, Laura said warmly. She didn't call? I told her at noon to leave by 3:30 so she could help if you fainted, Vicky joked. You're such a thoughtful daughter, Laura said fondly. Any mother would be proud to fill a house with girls like you, Victoria Lynn. Ellen stayed close, sensing that Vicky's mother had only just learned about the dinner guest, and that Vicky might have given a different impression about dating a boy. Best to stay quiet and follow Vicky's lead. They sat at the backyard picnic table. Vicky poured lemonade for everyone, adding ice for Ellen. After a few sips, Laura smiled. You're such a pretty young lady, Ellen. I'm happy to meet you. Ellen blushed, but smiled back. Let me explain a little before Dad gets home, Vicky said, sitting beside her mother. She quickly explained Ellen's story, how changes in wardrobe had helped Ellen discover a more comfortable version of herself, and how Vicky admired and cared for her regardless of where it all would lead. Just as she finished, Gregor came through the back door. Nobody at the front door, and now I find my wife and daughter chatting out here by 4 o'clock. What's going on? He asked with mock suspicion. Vicky ran up and hugged him tightly. Hi, Daddy. What mischief are you up to, lass? Gregor said warmly. You've got that sparkle in your eye. Nothing too terrible, Vicky said with a wink. This is Ellen, a friend from school. She's staying for supper too. Gregor approached Ellen, who stood politely and offered her hand. Gregor smiled and kissed her hand gallantly. Pleased to meet you, Ellen. A friend of Victoria's is welcome here. Laura took another sip of her drink, and Vicky returned with fresh glasses for everyone. Gregor gave Vicky a knowing look, sensing there was more to the story, and waited patiently. Vicky took a deep breath, trying to contain her nervous energy. Daddy, she said, I love Ellen. And Ellen's special. She's always been Ellen, but she's happier now, and so am I. 3 stunned faces looked at her. What? Gregor said, half laughing. Lass, from the moment you were born, I told your mother you'd be a handful, and you've never disappointed me. Vicky grinned and wrapped her arms around his neck. You looked at her when you walked in. Admit it. She's beautiful, isn't she? Gregor chuckled helplessly, his heart softened by his daughter's affection. Ellen still felt a little lost, but the warmth in the room made her feel safe. Laura set her glass down firmly and tried to focus. You need to call about those cemetery plots before 5, dear, Gregor said lightly, trying to change the subject for Laura's sake. Just then, Colleen appeared at the back porch. Hey, Ellen. I was wondering when I'd see you here, she called. And not tied up out back. Dad must like you. Mom, the roast smells ready, Colleen added before disappearing into the kitchen. We'll go inside, Gregor said kindly. I think the sun's been a little too much for your mother today.